1. And we are now live. TikTok Live number 71. By the way, guys, the top 5 listeners who stay on the TikTok Live the longest, I'm going to give you guys a shout out in the caption in YouTube, podcasts, everywhere. I give you guys a shout out before I answer your questions too. Ari.Laz just said, just started GPR at Jamaica. I feel so damn nervous. Any advice? Yeah, a lot of people are going to be nervous. That whole imposters syndrome. You're just going to be a little self-conscious. Look, you're right where you should be. You're starting residency. You're not going to know everything on the first day. Okay, it's going to take a while. It's the 4th day of August, 2025. So you're a little over a month in residency. Take your time, all right? Make sure you have all the materials you need, all the resources ready to go when you need to study up on things, right? One of our chief residents my year, we put together a PowerPoint. He put together a PowerPoint. One of my buddies put together a PowerPoint for the GPR and also the incoming oral surgery residents to use as reference when they're on call, right? Sometimes you're alone when you're on call at night, and it's probably a good idea to have a reference, something to reference to make sure you can do your first incision drainage, how to place admission orders, how to, stuff like that. Where to find 5-prolines for facial laceration, so things like that. All right, Apple user 3835 said, did you start your job yet? I did not start my job yet. I'm supposed to start on the 15th, or it looks like the 18th, because that's the round number that's Monday after that. But yeah, working on that. Still haven't received my diploma from the residency. They haven't sent them out yet. Just called the registrar's office today about that. And I'm going to try sending in official transcripts to see if I can get my New York State license that way. Pick it up again tomorrow. Worked several hours on that today, so hopefully tomorrow, But yeah, Staten Baker said, will sleep apnea research help set my dental school application apart? It might. I think it's pretty good. If you're working in sleep apnea and you could give insight to how it's related to dentistry and skeletal deformities, potentially, right? Maybe. I think it's pretty good. It's in the realm. It's in the realm of the area, especially if you get someone who's interviewing you who has sleep apnea, right? And you do research on it. I think that would be excellent. Honor Godudo said, are you a nurse or a doctor? I'm a doctor. Sometimes we got to play nurse too, Shouldn't matter though. We're in healthcare. But yeah, I'm giving oral surgery focused and dentistry focused Q&A right now. Ethan, is it good to shadow an OMFS during your freshman year of college? Yeah, doesn't hurt. You could start shadowing as early as you want. I think earlier the better in some cases, right? So yeah, I think that's a great idea. Cody Dazen said, honestly, how do you balance social media presence, editing, etc., while throughout residency? It was harder in my first 1 to 2 years because of the time consumption and of residency and how long it took to edit and post produce and stuff. But then AI came out. That was really just the last year and a half of residency that I was really utilizing. The last 2 years, I would say, of residency, I was utilizing it. But essentially, I just fit into my routine. I'm not doing it, I'm not wasting time doing other things. It's, what do they call it? Kevin O'Leary talks about this, signal to noise, cutting down on the noise, which are distractions, less prioritized things, and the signal, highest top priorities. What do you need to do now? And that's what I would do. I would work it into my routine. I wouldn't delete Ali. I'm not dancing around on TikTok. No, I'm answering questions. I'm telling you about how my day was in residency, because that's not a lot of content on that's out there. So I figured, why don't I make it and try and educate, try and mentor. So that's what I do this for, and it's just about fitting into the routine. You got to go for it, right? You got to put in work. Guys, I can't stress enough, you got to market yourself too in any career, any industry that you're in. You got to market yourself. There's finances, there's the marketing, there's the trade itself, whatever you are. Maybe you're an investment banker, maybe you're a dentist, maybe you're a doctor, maybe you're a nurse. That's the trade, right? Then there's the marketing of it. Then there's the finances of it, right? You want more money coming in than going out. And then there's the management. If you want to scale and grow, you need to know how to manage and work with other people and manage communication, stuff like that, right? Manage a team, manage your staff, manage your partners, manage your working with your boss, stuff like that. Okay, makes sense. So, yeah. Just and I can't. Another big thing I just want to say, to fit things into your daily schedule, get a to-do list. And I used to do. It's an app by Microsoft. But another thing I would say is fit things in your routine. I would make my videos just walking out of the hospital, and then the last year residency, I would put up another video. I do a lot of work before I go into work, right? So fitting it into your daily routine, your schedule. Dudiev said, thoughts on HPSP with new loan situation with intentions to go OMFS. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it too much. I think, the whole loan situation, I think it's all going to pan out just fine, to be completely honest. I think there's a lot of hype on it. A lot of the media is playing to it's catering to these people and that people. Maybe it is. Can we change it? No, we can't change it. If you want to go into dentistry, if you want to go into, if HPSP is what you want to do or what you don't want to do, that's what you need to focus on. I don't get distracted by all the things that we can't control. Okay, that's just a distraction. Don't get distracted. Awu said, I'm a D1. How fast would you say dental school felt like it went? Not fast at all. I didn't think dental school went fast at all. Each year was a grind. Studying for CBSE on top of that, fitting in externships in the middle of COVID. COVID shut down everything. Got scary for a little while. I had to go and travel to other places to do externships in the height of COVID. Yeah, that's the reality of dental school. You got to push for what you want to do in this life. You know, you got to get after it and eliminate distractions, and don't let excuses stop you from achieving what you want to do. You know, you got to be able to recognize when you're making excuses or not. Stuff like that. So Ava said, do you have any advice for D1s that want to do OMFS? Yeah, D1, you need to work on effective and efficient studying. Effective studying, getting higher grades, C, B, A. Efficient studying is maintaining those A's, but studying less and less and less, that you can study for more courses at the same time, okay? Very important. Focus on that D1 year, and then maybe you fit in the CBSE at the end of the D1 year or during D2 year, okay? Let's get that down first. Focus on your grades, your GPA, your ranking, and then we'll go from there, all right? That's what I'd recommend. C. Benji, what's up? C. Benji said, how's it going? What's up, C. Benji? It's going great. How are you doing? How are you doing, man? We're home. We're back in the lab. We're back in the lab. Mike the Bike 1231. Is there scope overlap between OMFS and ENT? Yeah, there is. In fact, we take facial trauma call, at least at the City Hospital in Manhattan where I was at. We rotate every third day taking facial trauma calls. So one day would be plastic surgery, doing all the lacerations, facial trauma, facial fractures, infections of the head and neck, right? Next day would be us, OMFS. Next day would be ENT, and then we go back to plastic surgery. So there is a lot of overlap, for example, with facial trauma, and then other areas too. Cosmetics in some cases. Yep. So Sid Steph said, do you have to go to a prestigious dental school to get an OMFS residency? No, you do not have to. No, you have to do well in dental school. It can help to go to like an Ivy League school potentially. Stony Brook did very well. UConn did very well. Harvard, UConn, UPenn, Columbia, UCLA. There's a lot of good dental schools out there that have consistent matches into specialties year after year, but it's not required, okay? You can do it from any dental school. Mike the Bike 1231. For dental school, if you got multiple offers, would you pick prestige or low tuition cost of living? I think you got to balance it out. You got to really prioritize what you're looking for, you know, and not everyone ends up specializing. Also low tuition, that's very important these days. I think that's really important. And then some people would say it doesn't matter about tuition. It's a matter of how hard you study during dental school and how well you do. What externships do you do? So some things to think about, you know, but it's going to be a personal decision to you and your family, you know, your significant other potentially. Tanya, what would you do in my undergrad to get ready for OMFS? In undergrad, get into dental school first. That's what I would do, Tanya. Just do as best you can in undergrad and you go from there. Nanjago at Leo, follow the live creator. Thanks, friend. Ethan, I worked as a dental assistant for 3 years in high school. Can I still talk about this during apps? I think it's a great idea. You know, you're showing that you went out there and worked during high school. That's one thing. Two, you started at a much earlier age than other people. If you get your dental school interviews, that's definitely something important to include, that you started so early and you took the initiative and you got after it. Adam Mustafa 9519 is OMFS high stress. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. It can be at times, especially in residency. Ethan, even if it's 4 years later, yes, I do think that's a good idea. Muzz, dental versus medical school in 2025. I would still pick dental school. I would absolutely pick dental school over medical school in 2025. Going forward, it's going to be tough to see. Hopefully it starts to get better, you know, but concert photographer said, congrats, bro. Now that you are attending, let me borrow $5. I'm not working right now. I'm waiting for my diploma to come in so I can apply for my New York State dental license, and then I can start working. That's a big problem. It's been a big delay. They told me it would come. They told us that the residency graduates, they told us that it would come out on July 21st, and we still haven't received it. So big delay. We're waiting. NC said liberals whining. Muzz said dental versus medical school in 2025. Yep, I said dental school. Muzz said, does dental school rank in the U.S. matter? In some cases, it does matter. People want to look at that ranking. I don't think it's a good idea for mental health in dental schools in the United States, but I don't run a dental school, you know. And a lot of them don't take my opinion. What are you going to do? Ford said, sup, doc, did you get your New York license yet? Nope. We're working on that. We're working on it. Dudiev said, thanks, doc. Appreciate the advice. You got it, man. You got it. MH0133. Do you have suggestions for dental anxiety? Yes, I would look up on Google reviews. I would search these dentists on social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. People have these things now, right? Look them up on their website, see what videos they got. Try and meet these people before you go into the office, right? Look at their Google reviews. Are they trustworthy? Do people feel comfortable at that dentist? Do all this research before you go in, right? At least you're going to be prepared to know what to expect of this dentist, right? That's what I think you could do. It's the best thing you could do right now. Andler said, what is a fellowship? A fellowship is additional training you do after your residency. Anya, what's the difference between MD OMFS and DMD OMFS? You're mixing it up. It's DDS or DMD, and then with OMFS, there's the 4-year track, which is whatever you get after dental school, DMD or DDS, and then the 6-year OMFS spend their extra 2 years in medical school, get their MD, but that doesn't directly apply to oral surgery. It's an additive. It's an additional thing you could do if you want to spend the money in medical school tuition, if you want to take the time learning medicine and about the toes and about the feet and about the bloodstream, and you want to learn everything in dental school, you could do it. I didn't opt in for that. C. Benji said, it's been a great summer. I'm using your tips preparing for OChem now. Excellent. And I'm feeling great. Good. See, Benji, I like that. I like that a lot. Keep going, getting after it. Don't miss out on enjoying the summer. Don't forget that. Make sure you enjoy and get away a little bit during the summer, see friends, spend some time doing that. But I'm glad that you're taking the initiative as well and studying for OChem. That's the best thing you could be doing right now. Ford said, Doc, how much debt do you have? A lot of debt on time. That's definitely for sure with all the amount of schools, all the amount of years that it takes to go through all the schooling to become a surgeon. That's for sure. A lot of debt on time that I can't get back. Sally McDaniels, did you ever consider orthopedic surgery or orthodontics? Which one do you mean, Sally? T-Jack said, I want to show you some. Can DM you? You could DM me. DM me on Instagram, though. I can't get to things as fast or as often on TikTok. Sean said, how much do you work with ENTs? Is there any turf war? We work with ENTs a little bit. We drained a massive infection comes back with ENT. They did most of it. They drained the retropharyngeal space to the prevertebral space. It even extended. That's behind the esophagus and down the back of the airway, in between the airway and the esophagus. And yeah, I'm sorry, that posterior to the airway and esophagus, posterior, all that. And that's a dangerous one. That could spread down to the heart. That could go down to the mediastinum, and yeah, that could be very scary. But luckily, we had to bring it back to the OR again. Yeah, that was a take back because the infection persisted very inferiorly. So ENT had to take him back and go further down in the mediastinum, in the retropharyngeal space. But anyway, so yeah, we do that. Humna Ahmed said, would you recommend a gap year between undergrad and dental school, hoping I don't regret it? I mean, look, don't take a gap year if you don't need to. If you could go right into dental school or medical school, do it. But I really enjoyed my gap year. I thought it was great. I worked 3 different jobs. I read a lot of books, did a lot of podcasts, traveled a little bit, learned about stocks and investing. I produced music. The 3 jobs I worked were oral surgery assistant, lifeguarding, nights during the week at the gym, and then weekends at assisted living home lifeguarding as well. So it was a great year. Get a good idea of what the real world is like. __S, did you work as a dental assistant in undergrad? Shadowed in undergrad. I worked as a surgical assistant in between undergrad and dental school. That's what it was. Sally McDaniels, so you would still pick dental school over medical school in the coming years, even if you're a GD? Yep, I would. More autonomy in dentistry, I believe, and more potential for a better quality of life. That's what I think. Ethan said, Tanya, I believe just the title mainly, besides the 4 or 6 years. Mike the Bike 1231, is it frowned upon in residency to take beta blockers for anxiety to induce tremors during surgery? You don't have to disclose that. That's your choice. It's a personal decision. That's your medical conditions, right? People can't ask you that because that would be a HIPAA violation. So that's your choice to disclose that information. Adam Mustafa 9519, is the 6-year MD program worth it? Well, that's a personal thing. I didn't pursue it because I wanted to do the 4-year. I wanted to get in and out. I didn't want to be learned. It's like someone told me once, doing the 6-year residency for oral surgery is like taking a car mechanic and going to work on boats for 2 years before coming back to work back on cars again. I think it's a pretty good analogy, honestly. Are you going to use all that boat training? Maybe here and there. I don't think it's necessary. So I did the 4-year. I want to point A to point B, Abdullah, hi, Dr. G. How did you decide between OMFS and general dentistry? More about passion or practicality? More about passion. I just felt that my personality, my interests, my focus felt it was much more. I wanted to do oral surgery. I didn't want to be doing stuff like removable dentures. I didn't want to be doing like prophies here and there sometimes if you need to, if you don't have a dental hygienist. I just wanted to focus in on what I really found it interesting, every single procedure in and out. And I do in oral surgery, So, Papa Chulo, any tips having 1.86 grad GPA, undergrad, 3.2 GPA, 2.99 science, going into 22 academic average, Midwestern? I mean, you're going into Midwestern for dental school, right? Just go for it. Just keep studying. I mean, what tips can I give you that? Sally said, would you ever consider orthodontics? Not really. Not really. Although I did like the orthodontics class at Stony Brook. I did pretty decent at that. Bending wires went pretty well. I don't know. Conceptually, I got it. And my best friend's an orthodontist. And yeah, no matter what you're going to get into, it's not going to be a walk in the park. You got to understand. It's not going to be a walk in the park no matter what industry you go into. If you really want to excel, you really want to be the top of the top, it's going to require work. You're going to have to work. And you got to accept that. And, when you work a lot, that means you're going to have to sacrifice a lot too. McLean, first test as DS1 is this Friday. Advice if you want to specialize? Yes, this is very important. Do as best you can on that exam. Joel, right? I mean, what else you want me to say? Kyle Band said, currently DH student. I'm going to dental school after an advice. Yeah, do it. Sure, go for it. I don't think you need to. Dental hygiene's excellent, but sure. Joel Cabrera said, what extracurriculars did you do in dental school to prepare for residency applications? I did research. I shadowed in the OR. I did journal club with the oral surgery department at Stony Brook. I did the CBSE. I did research. I was a part of ASDA. I went to every single ASDA event that I could when I realized how much fun they were and how great they are for networking. Yep, I think that's pretty good. Networking's really important. McLean, first test is DS1 this Friday. Advice to specialize said that. Brett said, hi, I have TMJ and tinnitus. Is there any correlation and what can I do? Thank you. You got to get a consult. I can't recommend anything through an app here with just a sentence. That wouldn't be appropriate, right? All right, should I go with an implant or a bridge? This is another thing. I don't know what your situation is. I haven't seen your x-rays and I haven't examined you clinically. I don't know what your age is. I don't know what pre-existing medical conditions you have. This is all things I would need to know. I would need to see you for consult. I need to give you an exam. I need to examine your mouth, Sally McDaniel said, are there any dying specialties in dentistry like endo or perio, for example, pediatrics, ortho? No, I don't think any of these are dying specialties. I really don't. I think they're doing just fine. I'm not seeing any indications of any of them dying. I'm not. I think everything's going just fine. They're all intertwined with each other. DDD said, very low GPA in a rank due to unfortunate circumstances. 2 years of dental school. Chance of getting into non-cat to elevate my application. Chance of getting into non-cat. I mean, you just apply to a non-cat. There are plenty of spots open. Wouldn't be worried about that. User 1668. What coffee do you drink? My number one go-to, Dunkin' coffee. I think Dunkin' is my favorite. Just the regular meat eating blend. I've had a lot of coffee over the years, especially in dental school and residency. Let me tell you. For studying for the CBSE, Veranda. Starbucks Veranda. That's the blonde. Oh, man. I wouldn't, if it's your first cup of coffee, I wouldn't have that, okay? But that's what I would use to study. And then day to day, I love Dunkin' coffee. It's better on my stomach, too, I find. Yeah. All right, guys, I got to sign off. Darwin Jose Gafaro said, I just got my braces off King. Can I whiten my teeth with strips? I mean, you can. I would consult your dentist first. They might even recommend a stronger whitening regimen that you could do. Ask your dentist. See what they think, Ricky Cho, follow the live creator. Thanks, Ricky. Thanks, friend. Sally McDaniels, is the debt to income ratio worse in dentistry or medicine? It's hard to say. Some medical schools are free now, right? Like NYU, a couple other ones. So that can help. But as far the ratio, paying it back over time, it's hard to say. There's coming a switch now, and then it's going to change going forward too. Kyle, what interview tips do you have? Yes, it's a conversation. It's not a multiple choice exam. Make sure you're conversing with someone across the table. It's not just like you're not just answering, be a conversationalist. Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends, Influence People. How to Be Conversationalist is in that book. All right, friends, I'm signing off. Guys, TikTok Live number 71. Thanks for signing on. Top 5 listeners of this that stayed on TikTok, the TikTok Live the most. I'm giving you guys a shout out in the caption of podcast on YouTube. I'll try and get this all up tomorrow. All right, friends, tomorrow or Wednesday. All right, guys, have a good night. Thanks so much for coming on. Love you guys. You guys are part of my podcast team. And yeah, thanks again. All right, guys, good night. TikTok Live number 71.